Alrighty, hello everyone, and welcome back. My name is Trundle Domination, and I'm here again with another draft analysis episode where I pick apart and suggest new drafts for the 2023 World Championship. In this video, I'll be analyzing the draft between Team Liquid and GAM Esports during the knockout series of Swiss Stage here during the World Championship. It was a couple days ago, but here is your spoiler warning for this series, so I'm going to get right into the results once the video starts. Cool. Now that's out of the way, let's get right into this draft. So, here we see the draft of both sides after the full champ select, along with the bans, so you can see which champs were excluded from my picks later on. So GAM actually loses this game, but wins the series overall. But I'm going to kind of analyze why they lost this game, maybe what better picks would have been for both sides. So, I'm also going to explain the problems with both sides of the current draft, and like I said, give some example drafts that I think would be a lot better. So for Blueside on Team Liquid here, my main criticism comes from the Xayah first pick. So you can see Xayah is really powerful in the world's meta right now, but as I've gone over in my other drafting videos, there are some basic criteria for first picks that must be heavily considered when you're thinking about blinding any champ. You can go watch that video. It was my first draft analysis between Golden Guardians and BDS during the World's Qualifying Series. If you want to see more about that, these concepts, go ahead and give that video a watch. But just as a brief kind of TLDR, you want to consider how powerful they are, who you might want to pair them with, and what they're kind of how easily they can be countered, I guess. Xayah's a bad first pick because she's easily counterable by poke, and her common matchup, Rakan, which we see they picked here, is also easily counterable by anti-mobility. We've also seen a lot of the Lissandra support to counter Rakan lately, so it would be pretty easy to counterpick him this entire bot lane if you first pick it like this. Next, the Kindred pick is a really good addition to this draft, but only if we have something that's kind of like really synergistic with her. Something like a Millio would have been really good here, especially if we had an auto attack based mid laner or top laner as well. But obviously that's kind of just getting into semantics. So, moving on to the red side, I have a few main criticisms here. The Syndra first pick is ridiculously counterable by poke, even by hard dive, just by lots of stuff. And we'll actually get into it when we do Blueside drafts trying to counter Syndra. Vi in general is also going to be terrible into Nico, Rakan, and Xayah because they have so much peel. And the Kennen makes no sense if the emphasis is going to be on the bot lane through the Draven. Like when you pick Draven, your emphasis is you're going to weak side top lane, you're going to get Draven ahead. And picking Kennen just kind of weirdly throws that out of proportion. Anyways, let's go ahead and move on to the sample drafts. So first, I'm going to draft from Blueside. So I kept Redside the same here, as you can see the same 5 champs, but I'm going to show you my picks in order so that you can better see what I mean with how they can use better champs and different champs to kind of counter. So the first thing we're going to do is when they pick they haven't picked yet because we're Blueside. So where we're going to first pick, in this current meta, I'm almost always going to first pick Seraphine or Kai'Sa. Both of them are extremely versatile, and they are both flex picks, and they're both really powerful in this meta. So I think that they're going to be really good. I'm going to go ahead and first pick Seraphine here. I feel like she goes well into almost any team comp. So then we're going to see that they're going to pick twice. So they are going to pick the Syndra and Renata. And we are going to go ahead and pick up a Tristana as a lane counter to Syndra because she can bully her in lane. As soon as Syndra wastes E, Tristana can hop in, and it's pretty free lane for her to sit, scale, and take towers later on. We get 2 picks here. So then we're going to go ahead and have to try and pick out the Renata and Syndra. We know we want to have kind of a more passive bot lane because it seems like we're going to be playing through mid a lot. And I want to emphasize the importance of these 2 picks as well. Like Tristana could go mid, Seraphine could go bot lane, Seraphine can go support, Tristana can go ADC. There's a lot of flex potential there, but we are going to throw down the Sona here for a super defensive, hyper scaling bot lane. And that'll basically nullify any kill pressure that might go with Renata because they'll be able to basically consistently stay alive long enough to be able to do their stuff later on. You can see that you could argue that the Seraphine Sona was a bit of a counter pick because I knew that Draven was coming, but even if you didn't know that Draven was coming, it would still be a really good safe bot lane to allow a little bit more carry potential in mid and top and jungle. So they're going to go ahead and pick the Draven, and we're going to have the neutralized lane against that. After second rounds of bans, they're going to R4 the Vi. But we know already here that we have more than enough peel with these three champions. Tristana can R away, Seraphine can charm, Sona can R stun. That Vi is really not going to be a problem once we get into team fights. So we're just going to look for a strong, oh, I forgot. Bel'Veth is not in here, so I'm going to throw in a brand. This is actually a Bel'Veth. She's not on this drafting tool. I tried searching for BE, BL, there's nothing. So I'm not quite sure what went on there, but we're gonna throw a brand. This is actually a Bel'Veth. Bel'Veth is able to match Vi's skirmish potential really, really well and outscales heavily with her passive. She also really works well with the siege power of Tristana, so I think those two champions are going to go really well together. So they're going to go ahead and, sorry, we have to pick next. So now we have to go ahead and blind pick in top lane, and we're actually going to throw down the Ornn to match our skills of team fighting and scaling, which will work really well. Ornn is also a really good top laner, especially against Renekton, which is picked a lot. I'm not sure. He wasn't banned, was he? No, he wasn't. So but he was picked in the first draft. So Ornn does really well against a Renekton in case they wanted to R5 that. And he's just really good with meta matchups right now. So this is kind of what my draft would look like. Again, this brand is really a Bel'Veth, and that would be a Seraphine Sona bot lane. Seraphine is the bot lane carry, Tristana mid lane, Bel'Veth jungle, and Ornn top lane. And I think that would basically really effectively neutralize everything the team wants to do, have really good range, have really good peel, have really good disengage, and really, really solid team fighting. Cool. So moving on to our second draft, where we're going to do the exact same thing, but we're going to draft from Redside this time. So we see them first pick Azaya, and that instantly means to me that we're going poke comp. We want to be able to counter her. So, oh, I didn't actually click on it. We're going to go ahead and first pick Kai'Sa, and then we're going to R2 into a Poppy. And the reason why we're going to do Poppy next is because we know that after the Xayah is picked, it's very, very likely to be a Rakan along with it. And we could take the Rakan, but I don't think it's going to serve us very much good to have kind of a mismatched bot lane like that. So we're going to go ahead and take the Poppy because she also has a lot of flex potential, which is really, really massive when it comes to early picks. So we're going to see that they're going to B2 and B3, a Rakan and Neeko. So now we kind of have to consider what we're looking for in lane counters. Neeko is a pretty strong laner when it comes to playing against squishy champs, but I think she would struggle into something like the Tristana. Tristana would also allow us to peel off the Rakan whenever he's trying to dive onto our backline. So the Poppy and Tristana would both have really good peel tools against their dive. So after second rounds of bans, we have to blind pick an R4. And we could go for a top or a jungle. We could send Poppy top. But I think what we're going to go for here is actually a Millio. Oh, I forgot Millio is also not on here. So I'm going to throw down her. This is actually a Millio. Again, I had this problem with both drafts. Millio is not on here. Bel'Veth's not on here. Really weird stuff. But this is actually a Millio. Millio does really well matching with the range increase of both AD carries. This is likely going to be an AP Kai'Sa, but with Nashor's Tooth, she'll still be doing really good DPS. So Millio will boost both of our carries there. They're going to B4, B5, a Renekton and Kindred. And then we are going to R5 in Ornn to basically shut down Renekton and work with our scaling composition with our Millio Kai'Sa bot lane, Tristana mid to win the laning phase, Poppy to shut down engage, and Ornn to be kind of our big beefy tank scaler. And you can see how immediately both of these team comps from either side use multiple champions that are lesser picked in pro play, but are just significantly set up easier to take over the game and to counter the enemy drafts while still having many cohesive strengths of their own. So, to be clear, this team has a lot more weaknesses, but it's still strong overall. One thing I noticed is easily that if they do get on top of us, it's basically over. If Kindred is able to play the fight properly, and if Kindred's able to play the fight properly, it might be pretty free. But I think that with how much peel we have and how much protection we have, it should be pretty cool. Also, the Millio is a really nice counter pick into the Neeko, because as soon as she R's, R stuns the team, we can cleanse it instantly as long as we're not part of that stun. So I think it's a really cool counter pick there that I think is going to work really, really well. So if you guys have any suggestions or questions or champs maybe you would like to see in any of these drafts, please let me know in the comments down below. I was kind of disappointed, obviously, with the outcome of this series, as I'm a North American fan in general. And TL dropping out was really disappointing this early in the tournament, especially to a wild card team like GAM. Don't get me wrong, I love the VCS. What was it? Saigon Buffalo is my favorite team last year in Worlds. By far favorite team. VCS is one of my favorite regions, but it's still sad to see them like knock out my home region. So, anyways, if you want to see more of this draft analysis series, particularly maybe live during the more final games of the World Championship, please let me know in the comments down below, and make sure to like and subscribe. Have a fantastic rest of your day. Thank you.